I want to start off by saying welcome to everyone. This is our first official episode number 1 HealthJox Podcast that we're doing at the end of the year, December 2020. We got the layouts right. We're setting the stage because we have a lot of topics to talk about, a lot of things to cover. We can only touch just the surface tonight, but we're going to do it anyway.
Well, you know, just the thought and the idea that we got a space for men, especially melanin men, Black men, to come in and speak about their health and becoming a health jock. So you found this thing called HealthJox. So tell me a little bit about that and what made you come up with the terminology health jock, which I felt in love with. Where did that come from?
So look, I really have to start with the year 2016, where I met a man who introduced me to the world of health and sports. He wasn't even necessarily fit. He just saw there was a need to give better healthcare to people in need. And he noticed that a large part of the issue was the hospitals and not having access. So he had this whole idea to get into health and sports. And I came on as the branding officer for his venture. That gave me the health and sports bug, man. And after that situation went to the left, I decided I was gonna create a health and sports company, but instead of just doing basketball and health, I wanted to involve all types of sports, because I knew the topic of health was vast and all-encompassing. No matter what your age is, what your gender is, I knew that everyone has to deal with their health.
What motivated me and got me so fired up was that after we finished being a jock for life in our sports, when we played it, when do we become that same jock when it comes to health? And that's when there's an absence of coach and someone to push you and drive you and get you to go. We have a tendency as a community, especially in our community with Black men, who a lot of us play sports.
Right.
We have a tendency of neglect it.
Right.
And we begin to get these stomachs. We don't check our health and so forth. So my whole thing when I got involved with it was, how do we make people realize they are a health jock?
Right.
And you're a health jock for life. Tell us a little bit about the festival, by the way. So people that don't know about it, tell us a little bit about the festival, and then we get back to the health piece.
Right. So a little bit of history. August 25th, 2018, I locked in Coach Ted Gustus, who's this man right here. And we also did a deal pulling in the Brooklyn Borough president at the time, Eric L. Adams. And we had a few other strategic relationships that came together. And the very first HealthJox event was at Kaiser Park in Coney Island. And we pulled in Joe Packer. He's the one who set the stage for us to go out there and, pull in the different people that were going to be a part of the event. That particular event consisted of tennis, soccer, basketball, aero dart, and
track.
During that particular event as well, we did a deal with the United States Tennis Association. They gave us a whole lot of tennis balls and rackets. And there was another company that came in as well and gave us some tennis balls and rackets. And we pulled in some, accomplished coaches who came in and taught the young people their respective sports and, different skills on how to be better at that sport, and also introducing young people to sports they might not have been acclimated to. We also had a component, which was a live component, where we had up and coming artists come and get on that HealthJox stage and get it popping.
Yo, it was nice.
Went so crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they were sweating, they're working the crowds hard. I mean, it was just a beautiful sight to see. And the young people had fun, fun, fun. We also had breakfast in the morning as well as lunch in the afternoon. So, you know, our people were fed.
That was a great day. That was a long day, but
It
it
was a
was a
long day.
great day to see the entire community come out in Coney Island and have this park set up. And man, we had banners all over the place. We
Oh,
were, we really, we really did it up for that particular day. And I think the kids and everyone had a lot of fun. But the main thing was to get the message across, which was how do we uh, continue to pay attention to our health with so many people dying from just bad health, or people living and as if they were dead because basically they
Wow.
just having challenges with their health. So I know after Kaiser Park,
That
we
was in
got this thing
2018.
kicking. Yeah, man, we got this kicking. We like, yo, we got to make this even bigger. So and we did have the borough president. He locked into it because he's really a kick on the health thing.
True.
And so then what happened? We moved on to where?
So I think it's important to mention within that first HealthJox that we produced, the Brooklyn Borough President gave us a citation calling August 25th, 2018 officially HealthJox Day, right? HealthJox Festival Day. So after that, we knew that we had to do something bigger. We wanted to do a second day. And so in 2019, we put our heads together, we built our team a little bit bigger, and we had a 2-day HealthJox event. The first day, we did a deal with Brooklyn Bridge Park, which is a very private, exclusive park in Dumbo,
Yeah,
Brooklyn. Coach, you already know.
That was beautiful.
It's not that easy to get into that park. I believe they saw the vision of what our plans were for the community, and they jumped on board officially.
Wait a minute. You said they saw the vision.
They
Could
saw the
they
vision.
not see the vision after you drew it up? And the way you had that laid out, the entire park was strictly laid out. I just want the audience to know that,
Yeah,
yo, this young dude, he did it. He came in and basically laid out every portion of the park.
yeah,
So when they got this information in the deck,
right.
and they saw every section, every move that was planned out, how could they not allow us to come into that park?
True.
Of course, we got the help of the borough president and so forth. But
Absolutely.
after the borough president, they were calling us back
Right.
for the following year. So it was like, we don't even need the borough. The way you had this so organized and where we had it organized and structured and so forth. Man, that don't just say we just laid out the vision. You put that, you put your feet in that. That was real nice, man.
That's so true because what was important to make that day a reality, we had to make sure that we were paying attention to all of the different viewers, customers, attendees that we knew were going to come to the park. Yeah, we had to first identify the demographic. We had to make sure we had a senior village. We even had a group of young people who were mentally challenged and also physically challenged. And we had a whole training aerobic session for them. And I mean, bro, the excitement, even during that period of time that they were there, I mean, they really enjoyed themselves. We pulled in vegan chefs. We had vegan food there, great tasting vegan food as well. I don't want to get off the topic, but Coach, you brought me to this amazing restaurant in Brooklyn that had a lot of amazing, well-seasoned vegan food. We'll talk about that later.
Some of that we're going to be talking about. But you remember the time when we were putting this together, and it was so funny because it was a day in the daytime, and we walking around. We had the Brooklyn Nets there.
Right.
Giving out shirts.
So, we caught wind that a very established multi-billion-dollar company booked out the park before, and they had this place, that place. And I was there with Coach, like, we want the same thing too. You know what I mean? We might be small, but we are all about getting bigger and developing and expanding. So this year, 2019, that year, 2019 was super important to us because we wanted to map out the different locations of Brooklyn Bridge Park to make sure that all of our customers would be well catered to. So we had the senior village, we had the medical companies and organizations coming in who gave out information, free information to the public about mental health, about how you can get access to different services that you may need or your friend or family may need as well. All of that information was free. As I said, we had vegan chefs there. We even had not only food, but we had beverages there as well. And, we brought in this new 3-on-3 game called Trade 21, created by Eric Hicks, the owner and creator of Game Over.
And then, of course, the Trade 21 was so exciting.
What?
Man. With the music and the dunking and, oh my God, we got some serious highlights from that. So,
but you know what? Trade 21 takes it to another level. It's not just a tournament that you normally see these tournaments in the summertime. There's, yes, excitement with the tournaments, but Trade 21 is a little bit deeper. I mean, it's kind of like playing chess through basketball, the decisions that you make. It's like exhilarating, man.
Well, we're going to have the owner of Game Over to come on our show, and he's going to come on. We got to have him. He'll explain Trade 21 and that gorgeous trophy that he created with the only Black man on the trophy.
Right.
See, a lot of people don't know that. There's all the other trophies out there, there's no Black man on that trophy. So we win basketball games and they give us these trophies, but they never give us one with Black men. Game over to that.
And, we have this new sport that Coach created. It's a derivative of something in the past. It's a historical sport that Coach revived and Americanized and Blackized, I think he called it. It's called Aero Darts.
We're going to get to Aero Dart because that's a whole nother story. But yes, you're absolutely right. That's just something else that's going to keep us fit and get us right. Yes, go ahead, man.
Correct. And, and that day was special because we had all the summer camps come through as well. And these kids just were like enjoying the day. Everything was free. There were nannies there, little kids, grown-ups, seniors, whatever. And that moment, I realized this could be huge. And we didn't have a stage there that day, but we had up and coming artists perform on the actual court. And I mean, the excitement, the energy, I mean, it was amazing. And, Coach held the whole thing down. Pretty much Coach ran all aspects of the event. And we had some, sub people as well, managing other aspects of the event. But I mean, the Brooklyn Nets came on board. They gave away a ton of T-shirts. Everyone was excited, man. And everyone had their role to play.
And you had Black Jack Ryan, who they just did a movie
Ryan,
out.
yes.
Man, this guy's incredible with the ball. Then we had the young dude, Kumar
the promised one.
The promised one coming from out of North Carolina. Him and his whole family traveled all the way from North Carolina to come in. Boy, did they put on the show, man. They really put some work in on that there. Absolutely amazing. So you're absolutely right. The DJ that we had out there, he was out there spinning around and he was exercising as well, man.
Yes, he was spinning under his legs. He was scratching. He was turning around doing the back thing. I was like, what is...
We got to get him back, man, because
we have to.
You got to be in shape to DJ the way he DJs, man.
He was amazing. Not to mention the live performers. We had Jesse. He also goes by the name of Triple J. And we also have Jared SB. And then we have Empress as well.
Right.
Those three performed. There was a fourth artist. I'm not going to remember his name.
Did Kobe come out? Kobe didn't come out this one, huh?
No, Kobe didn't come out this time. He came the following year, which is this year. He was definitely there the first HealthJox event that we had. He
Right.
performed on stage, and he did skip the skip
Oh
song.
yeah. Skip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach,
So
from now on, that's your dance. Okay, got it.
that's my dad. Hey, but you know what? So now we go into the third year
Right.
and we get a snag. What happened?
Yeah, the snag, man. I think everyone listening to me right now can totally relate. It's called COVID-19, the coronavirus, the corona pandemic. You know the names.
Man.
And I gotta say, when I found out, because everyone was like up in arms, like, what are we gonna do? Our whole thing is outdoor gatherings and concerts and live performances. I even do a fashion show in Times Square with James Corbett, and that's all about gathering and people being close, and maybe your level of success is measured by the amount of people that come and support your event. So what do you mean 6 feet socially distancing rules are now being applied? It was crazy. And once I found out that Arnold Schwarzenegger's Health and Sports Festival, which he spent millions of dollars on in California, was shut down, then I pretty much knew there'd be no hope for HealthJox. And from the way the news reporters were speaking, we didn't even know what the future held for us as, a festival, an event where people gather together. So, everyone was very disappointed. We thought it'd be over in, maybe June, July, started stretching into Fashion Week, which is September. And then we just knew for a fact it was just, this year was a wrap. And then a bright light came to me. I received a phone call by yours truly, Coach Ted Gustus, and he told me he has an idea. And I was like, talk to me, because we need something. Because I'm not willing to just walk away from this whole year just like that. Like, we already started gaining momentum from last year. I already did another new deal. I don't know if I even told you this. I already did a new deal with Brooklyn Bridge Park. They now gave me 2 pairs, and we were going to do a 2-day event at Brooklyn Bridge Park. The first day was going to be live sports and a little bit of entertainment. The next day was going to be a full concert. We were going to bring in a big tractor trailer that turns into a hydraulic stage. So all of that going in the wind. You come on board and you're like, listen, I have a plan. What if we did a virtual school trip? Because at the time, schools were all virtual.
Right.
So I said, oh, that's the remedy. That's the answer for HealthJox 2020. Now, you were like, well, look, I'm speaking to a few teachers. I don't want, this is you talking, I don't want to make it a Board of Education situation just yet. Let's kind of just try it out and let's see how it goes. And so we pulled in some classmates. We pulled in some teachers. I pulled in some of my relationships. You brought in a load of, expert coaches that were masters in their respective fields. And we pitched it to the Brooklyn Borough president. He was so excited because his whole thing was, how can I involve myself more with virtual health-based events? And HealthJox just happened to answer that question for him.
Yes. The thing about it is that, to me, there's no such thing that we can't do anything, So all I got to do is get you, like they said, put a battery in your back and then get you flowing. And then after that, you start to really doing so many things to bring this together. You got your team together, man. What about that team that you got together to help build this out?
Amazing. I have to say, so remember, we're used to doing live events, live festivals, live performances, so on and so forth. So I had to now put on a new hat of executive producer of a show, a video production. I didn't have that experience. Coach, you were a lot more versed in that industry than I am.
Right.
And so I reached out to a few people, and specifically I reached out to this lady. Her name is Naomi. And she was like, listen, I can do this. She said she did it once before. She was interested in getting into this part of the industry. And her and I, we put our heads together and we just started going crazy. We beasted out. We did a lot of research on, this new app called Zoom. Listen, don't sleep. Don't sleep on times of peril. Don't sleep. A lot of the times when everything falls apart, those are the very moments that these diamonds in the rough come out and become what they're supposed to become on this earth. We saw it with Zoom and we saw it with HealthJox, because out of obscurity, we found a light and we took access to that light, and we became this now a virtual platform that now discusses health and mental health as well as sports. And so Naomi came on board. I had Avril Ives, who was officially the first investor of HealthJox. We had my man Kev Connect, of course. And we had Omar, what he calls himself, Lordo, and there's another name as well.
Divine.
Yeah. So that was our core team. It was Naomi.
And Eric Hicks, of course, he gave us the gym and everything, right?
Could we just talk about Eric Hicks for a moment? Not only was he instrumental in all of the HealthJox that we produced so far, this year being the third year, but he also was the host of our virtual HealthJox Festival, which all took place at his location called the Brooklyn Sky Dome.
Yeah, man, that was fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
And it was so great to see. We had that small area, and at that time, the pandemic was really at its scariest moment.
Yes.
And for him to open up and allow a small amount of us to come in there, we brought down Strength No Weakness, DeMarjay.
That's
and
right.
His brothers, and they
His
came down, and actually he co-hosted with me, along with Dr. Faith Brown.
Yes.
And then your guests, oh my God, the guests that you had all over, including your dad, man. Your dad was dropping jewels left and right, man. That's the bishop, right?
Yes.
He was killing it, man.
Yes.
And some of the stories, who else did you have there? Because they were really amazing, those people that you had on the show.
Yes. So let me say this part. So HealthJox Virtual Festival was from 12 noon to 6 p.m.
Woof.
in the evening, people.
That was a long
we went
night.
crazy. We went ham because
Yeah.
we're not playing, right? So from 6 p.m. to 7:30, it was an hour and a half of our virtual HealthJox Town-hall Meeting. The Brooklyn Borough president, God bless that man, shot 2 commercials for us.
Let's get started with a day of movement and activities as we wait for the city to reopen. And thanks to the HealthJox Virtual Festival 2020, we can all do that together.
And we had Coach Gustus as the MC. We had Dr. Faith Brown as the official host. And then we had members come on board and represent very specific portions of mental health. So we had our Bishop, Lester Bradford. That's my father. He's also a missionary bishop. He came in to talk about mental health in light of the spiritual aspect. So he brought body, soul, and spirit to the conversation. Of course, Dr. Faith Brown spoke from a medical standpoint. We had Nepa Kara, who spoke about systems and relationships in light of mental health. We had also Joseph Watson, who came in and he spoke about mentorship, and he calls it menternship, which is a nice, cool play on words, because he talked about the importance of in your community having people who can mentor young people and give them guidance, and how the role that plays in mental health within the community. And we also had Nigel Calden, who came in and spoke about economics and how if you don't have your economics game together, that also contributes to mental health issues. If your money ain't right.
Right.
And he brought in some other aspects as well with you. You and him had a really nice dialogue about how things are set up on this earth to possibly destroy you. And it goes along with Nebuchadnezzar's concepts of the systems that are set up, even in our community, that kind of incites or stimulates mental health illnesses. It's fascinating to watch. And really the star of the whole virtual town hall meeting was Phil Harris, because he actually gave a real life account about mental health and how it has affected his life from since he was a child. He went into pretty much the how he lost his mom through abuse and murder, and the effects that these negative things in life have on you. It was him who I learned about triggers, and how triggers that are set in just like a regular day span, things that just happen and triggers a really negative thought. And I'm so blessed to be a part of HealthJox. I believe God gave me HealthJox to not only, which was what it was initially, get into health and sports from a physical standpoint, but now kind of transition into a conversation about mental health, because it really starts with the mind. And Coach, you may know about this, but if you're not mentally preparing yourself to wake up at 5 a.m, which I think you do, maybe 5 or 6, to go to the gym or to get on that bike that you're always on and ride around the neighborhood, to get your energy up and all that stuff. If your mind is not there and you're not mentally prepared to do it, you just will not do it. You'll stay in that bed, you'll fall into laziness, and there goes your motivation.
So this is the reason why I was so excited about hosting this podcast, this show with you, because we need to have a straight up conversation about this. We oftentimes say, let's go back to normal. We can't wait till normalcy come back. But our normal is abnormal. We kind of normalize abnormalcy, and the challenge with that is in our health area, it devastated us. COVID-19 devastated our community. We showed that we were so vulnerable. And if we don't say something about it and do something about it, anything that comes our way, we're going to always be infected and affected by it. So it's time for us to step up. So I join my young brothers like you. I call my sons my SUNs. Why? Because we need to shine light on the mental aspect that people don't talk about. Like that brother, what's his name, Harris?
Phil Harris, yes.
When we get Harris on the show and he tells his story, and what I loved about him is that he was willing to open up and tell his story, which I call our story. And his story is our story. It's a story of all the challenges that we have in our community from a mental place. We are in what we call a fight and flight mode all the time. That's what you talked about with the trigger. The trigger is we in a fight and flight. When someone stops us, we go into that mode, and it what happens to the body, chemically wise, it begins to destroy the body. There's cortisol that injected into the chemistry of our body, and it brings inflammations in our knees and our legs and so forth. We want to talk about those things.
Yeah.
Those are things that are very important to talk about.
Right.
And we need to be real and upfront. One thing about fellas, we don't talk about health.
True.
We talk about every single thing, but we don't talk about health.
Right.
And I'm taking my rightful position as coach because our community need a coach. Most of our young people grow up as athletes, and many of them play sports, and they rely on their coaches to tell them to do this, do this, do this, do
Right.
this. And then when you come from under that, now who's telling you?
Right.
And your wife, you look at it, if it's just your wife or your lady, it's like she's nagging you when she's really concerned.
Or making fun of you.
Or making fun of you, but you
Yeah.
know what? That fun becomes a reality, man, when you see so many of us dying at the early age and
Right.
can't walk. I see people with canes and all these things. We got to put a stop to that. And there's some things that we can do if we discipline ourselves to begin that process of providing our help. And on this here particular podcast and this show, we want people to understand that there's alternatives.
Yes.
Many of us are afraid to go to doctors, and there's a good reason for being afraid.
Of course.
Because you go there sometimes, they practice in medicine. Well, those two words should never go together. Practice.
Right.
Because who you gonna practice on? Us.
Right.
so you know, especially black men, we like, yo, we ain't going there. You know,
We don't trust.
we don't trust. So we got to go somewhere.
Right.
I admire women. I never forget, I went to get a colonoscopy. And when I was in the hospital, doctor was preparing to get a colonoscopy. Me and one other brother was getting his colonoscopy. We had our wives there with us. And both of us were sitting like this, not saying one word to each other. Our wives are talking to each other, and they made friends, and they was talking about their uterus, and I had to get a hysterectomy and all those things. And me and my man was like, when we going in here, we're afraid as hell and whatever.
Right.
And at that point, I was 50 years old at that time. I made it my decision that I was going to pursue this health thing so that I can go into my next stage of my life.
Yes.
Not worrying about all these other things. And it's so important. And I want that for you. And I want that for a whole bunch of other young people that's going to be watching this, as well as the OGs like myself that is trying to live for the next 20 to 30 years, if that.
Right.
But at least live. I ain't just talking about exist.
Right.
I'm talking about live.
That's
key. Jump on your bike and ride your bike at 60-something years old. You know, get on a basketball court, go on a tennis court, be able to do that so your legs could work and so forth. You know, still be sexually motivated.
Yes.
Because you have your body correct.
Right.
You know what I'm
Still
saying?
intact.
You know, it's very important.
You know, Dr. Faith told me, we had a private conversation, and at some point we need to bring her back on. She was on
without a doubt.
The original HealthJox Virtual Festival. But she told me, I asked her the question. I said, you know how they say, oh, it's in my blood, it's in my DNA. And I'm talking about ailments, like high blood pressure and diabetes, and, the list goes on and on. I said, is it true that if it runs in the family, you have to get it? She told me there's scientific proof that you do not have to have the same ailments that your parents and forefathers had, because if you make different decisions, let's call them better decisions, then you don't have to suffer from those issues that they suffered from as well. So just changed my life.
So from a spiritual angle, that's called self-fulfilling prophecy. Where you fulfill a prophecy that you're going to be like,
from what you said.
That's right. So we are already saying, oh, I got diabetes because my father got diabetes. My father got prostate, I got it. So you fulfilling a prophecy. So much so that you have a tendency of doing the very thing that they did to get that.
Right.
Do you not recall and remember that because of the food and the lifestyle of their eating habits and all that was the reason why they got this diabetes?
Right.
Do you not recall the challenges your dad had and why he has them? So I agree with her 100%. I wanted to break that cycle with my family. I like, oh, just because my father had it, that ain't me.
Right. That ain't
I'm
me.
different from him. Nah, and that's what everyone has to say. We need to break the cycle. We have to break the cycle. It requires discipline. And on this here show, we really want to help individuals leave here disciplined, fired up, and ready to make change. Because when change is necessary, not to change can be destructive.
Right.
And far often, we are in a destructive state as a community because we refuse to change.
Right. Exactly. That is very well said.
And we need a coach to make that happen.
True.
So we're going to bring some, yeah.
So I was going to say, what's your definition of a coach?
A coach is, to me, and I define it like this. If you've driven on a coach bus, and a lot of people don't even recognize it, but on the side of the bus, you see coach, right?
Yes.
See, but people don't realize that. Oh, coach, yeah. And even when you go on the train, you could ride in the coach section of the train.
Right.
Just like on the plane, you could fly in the coach section.
The coach section, right.
So all of those are vehicles, right? And those vehicles want to find out where you, the passenger, want to go, and they help you get to your destination. That's what a coach does.
Got it.
It says to you, Dewry, where would you like to go?
Right.
And how do you want to get there? Depending on how fast you want to get there, you could take a coach bus, you take a coach train, or you could take a coach plane.
Right.
Each one of them, you got to pay a different price to get where you want to get to. Are you willing to pay the price to get to your final destination? So when I was in Hong Kong and I was there teaching the coaches, they had an aha moment, because a lot of times coaches think is where they want to go for it. No, it's not where you want to go. You have to ask the passenger, where is your desired destination? And then your job is to help them get there, as long as they're willing to pay the price. And the price is not always money. If you want to get there, if you want to get to California a long way, then you take the coach bus.
Right.
You could speed it up with the coach train, or you could take the coach plane. Coach plane, you're going to get some turbulence on your way, but it'll settle down and get you there much quicker.
Right.
But you got to pay the price to take a coach train. So when you take Coach Gustus, when you come on this show and you take Coach Gustus, are you willing to pay the price? And what is the price? Willing to change.
Yes.
Change the direction that you're going. You're trying to get to Baltimore, but you're on a bus that's taking you to Detroit. That's the wrong coach bus you're on.
You're on the wrong bus.
So therein lies my definition of what a coach is. A coach finds out where his players want to go and he helps them get them. So this way, when you try to get off the bus, I'm like, yo, you're trying to get to Philadelphia. That's where you told me you want to get to. That's where we're going. Now, all of a sudden, you want me to stop the plane and let you off while we already in flight?
Right. Impossible.
No, ain't no getting off here. When you're taking Coach Gustus, it's for life.
Right.
Mr. Dewry, that's why you here. Because you already told me where you want to go.
Right.
So I can't just, I don't have too many co-pilots. So I have to basically make sure this plane goes. This is where you're trying to get there.
Well, I'm going to say this, and this is important to say. I want everyone out there to know this. I'm not only the client, I'm the player president, right? So what that simply means, my old school heads is gonna know what that means, but I'll explain it to the young folk. What I mean is HealthJox is not just something that I created, but it's also something for me to use to get to my destination of health as well. I mean, I've sat down and watched Coach play hours of aero darts and basketball games and combinations of aero dart and basketball games. You're gonna see what we mean by combination of aero dart and basketball, but all of the training. And weren't you doing some kind of 21-day training and then you did it again?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
can you what was that exactly?
Well, there's a theory that says that if you're doing anything 21 days straight, you could change your behavior. So some of my great folks like DeMar J. Smith, who's a motivational speaker and so forth, and Kobe, the singer and so forth. These are all guys that I took 21 days straight, 21 days straight, and beginning to teach principles that will ultimately help them make changes in their life and to give them the discipline that is necessary to make changes to get them to the destination they desire to reach.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, and you know, just seeing you not only coaching, not only managing, but actually being in the game, participating. I guess the difference between you and other coaches, in my opinion, is you are a part of the training. You actually get in the training and train with these young people. It's fascinating to see. And, you know, it's motivation for me. I'm not scared of a challenge. It's just not me. And I know you're laughing.
Yo, no.
You know where I'm going with this.
Yo, you remember when we was in, we keeping it real here. You remember we was in Atlanta?
Yes.
And I introduced you to Aerodot?
Yes.
I saw the competitiveness that came out of you when we was in that beautiful home and we were in the back near the swimming pool and we playing at Aerodot. I couldn't get you to stop.
Listen, I saw you and Kevin doing it and I was like, well, what is it? I want to do this too. Because it seemed like there's a skill you can learn for you to win. Like I saw it and I was like, if I could learn that skill, I could win. But you know, when you're with the guru and he's been learning practicing those skills for God knows how long. Yeah.
I created the game. So listen, I don't expect you to, but the fact that you competed, that's all we interested in, that you compete, man, in life, that we don't give up in life. And this is what we want to share with our brothers and sisters that come on this piece here with HealthJox, that you are a HealthJox. Listen, let me just say this to you. As I teach, I learn. As I learn, I teach.
Right.
So I'm not, my whole thing is the more I'm able to be around young people, they don't understand why I'm teaching them, I'm learning. And I'm picking up things left and right. So it's always a give and receive situation. I feel good when I'm around young people and they challenge me and I challenge them in whatever sport it is, basketball, and it keeps me going in that fashion. So here is going to be a forum for people to come and air out their just understand the mental stress that we as a people going out. We have to understand that the education system and the medical system has to be changed so it could fit the challenges that we have as Black people and especially Black men in this country. We have a unique set of challenges that we have, and it's exclusively for us. I don't want to hear Black and brown and all that kind of stuff. I'm just talking about us, that we have a challenge and we got to be the one to address it because we know better. We should do better.
Right. Yeah. That's the statement, man. That's definitely the statement of this year. If you know better, do better, for sure.
Right. If you know better, you do better. And so once again, man, I'm excited about this here. we got to start lining up our guests. I'm gonna have my wife come on too because she's into the health situation, the medical and the health stuff and so forth.
Right.
And I gotta have one because we talk about stuff. Looking forward to having Omar Divine on. He's a technical
let's not
guy.
get into technology.
Yeah, this technology stuff to help our people, man. He's got this thing watching over our people, watching for real.
Watching people.
Yeah, watching over our people, very important. And I got a host of 14 doctors lined up to come up on here. And these are really athletes, ball players, you name it, we're gonna have them on here. Everyone to talk about this health thing.
Yes,
and we're gonna keep it real here. We're gonna keep it real here. We gotta understand. And we're gonna address the church as well. Because
yes, absolutely.
Listen, let me just say this to you. I know we got Bishop. He gonna come on here as well.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to address them because we're gonna have to get a better handle on the foods that we're eating at these churches.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because my wife, when I go to her church, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
When it's eat time.
That Southern food, that Caribbean food,
whatever the food is, with salt and all that kind of stuff that's killing us, we got to take care of ourselves better. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, we're going to get onto that. I'm going to be letting it out like that. And I got to ask the pastors why they allow this type of food to be served on a regular basis, at least in the church,
I believe a lot of the pastors aren't health conscious, and that's not really a part of their message. It's more geared towards spiritual. And I've been having personal conversations with bishops in Brooklyn, and they're so excited about the idea of HealthJox coming now to the table and them introducing their congregation to health, the conversation of health. So we're almost like crusaders right now, because this is now the new initiative, health and mental health for the community, period. This is the time to do it, and we're just following instructions for sure.
Faith and prayer without works, the word works
is dead. Yeah.
Yeah. So I get the spiritual side. That's a beautiful thing. But as leaders, we have to lead by example.
True.
And when you see a lot of you're having a lot of funerals with a lot of your people in the church, and they're dying from obesity and all these challenges that we're getting now with COVID, that's bringing us to the point. You as a pastor, again, it requires you to change.
Right.
And begin to look at yourself and take care. I feel the same way about coaches and referees. I told my referees that if you cannot come and referee a high school game and you got a big old belly hanging out over the top.
Right. That's true. It doesn't make sense.
And you're not giving the kids 100%. They're not respecting you.
Right.
And if you're a coach standing in front of them and you're still having those challenges, the kids are looking at you and like, okay, what discipline do you have?
That's so true.
And we don't understand. Then you yelling and screaming at them. Then you say to me, well, coach, I don't understand why because you're not demonstrating discipline to them. And you're asking them for something and you're not demonstrating it to them. And these kids today is not do as you say, but do what you do.
Right.
So they're watching you.
Right.
So when they see someone like me in shape and I'm able to get around, and this is intentional. This is intentional. And I have a coach, John Sally, which we're going to have on the show. He is my coach. He's my coach. And he's in the last 5 years, he taught me some things that were very, very important in terms of my health. And if I'm coachable, I change. And sometimes he yells at me. Now, this is the same little kid that never.
Who used to coach?
When I coached, 14 years old, he was always 6 foot something. But I'm yelling at him to get him to the way he wants to get. But now he becomes my coach. So we're gonna hammer it out on this, man. We're gonna bring some people gonna become HealthJox.
Yes, for sure.
you know. So I'm so excited that you were given the vision. And I know you like your ham hocks and all the other stuff that you like.
I'm gonna have to get my life together, people.
You know,
For
yo,
sure.
but that's why I'm glad you were here. Because one thing great about you is you straight up honest. And that
sure.
makes you coaches, man. You know, like, you know, coach, I know. And that's what I want people coming on this here thing. Yeah, coach, you know what? I do have this issue. Don't come up here fronting, because you're going to come up here fronting. We're like, yo, next person. We don't need to have you up there. We need to, we're going to bring it out on you and you're going to be upset. Okay?
You call it coachable, being coachable, right?
Coachable, yes.
Yes.
Being coachable. Even as a coach, you should be coachable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I say that
sure.
to my wife, and I got to be coachable. So
Right.
anytime my doctors or anybody giving me some thought process, I got to be coachable. It's not that you have to believe in everything I say or do, but at least look into it. And we have all the channels to do that with Google and all the rest of the stuff.
True.
You know?
Absolutely.
So how you feeling, man? You good?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited to get this. I almost said I'm excited to get this started. It got started.
We just
today.
got it started now. We just started kicking it right now. This is beautiful, man. You look great on this.
Thank you,
You
sir.
know, I know I got to watch my fashion with you, because I know you be ripping the what do they call it? When in fashion, what do you rip the
runway?
The runway. Come on. Listen, I've been to your. Hey, let me say something. You talked about that fashion show on 42nd Street.
Yes.
Now you on this right now. You didn't give that any justice. I was there.
Why you say that?
Because you just mentioned, I did a fashion show on 42nd. Do you know you closed down the whole street on Times Square?
Yeah, it's
and
amazing, guys.
You had this big old stage out there, and you had these young people and freaking behind my tent.
Right. Wait, I will say this. So James and I, we created a new company called the Fashion Week Experience. If you go to thefashionweekexperience.com, you'll see the different things that we're putting together fashion-wise. We're going to decide if we are going to do a show in February, but definitely in September, we are going to have the Times Square Fashion Show outdoors again. Who knows? If you come, you might see Coach Ted Gustus on the runway, people. Make sure you get your tickets.
Wait, let me just say this to you now.
Sorry,
I will be running down the runway.
Or running away.
Well, you know what? Listen, my daughter.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, when I had her at Madison Square Garden, she did a whole show there.
Really?
For us, man. And she had some models. These girls, I didn't even know my daughter have all these kind of people.
Wow.
She said, "Daddy, you want me to do it?" I said, "Yeah, good." Man, she came in with all of these different models, man. They host the thing, and it was packed at the garden. You know, we had the area where the smaller area, you know, about 3,000 people. And she did her thing, man, you know. So I always tell her,
wow, that's amazing.
I got to get her with you, man, so you can have your side partner that's into that, you know?
Yeah, we could totally collaborate. We're always looking for strategic partners as well, because it's really about coming together to make an amazing show. That's what the fashion show experience is about, you know?
Yeah, my wife, she used to be in the fashion area as well back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But you know what? She was telling me, you need to get a 50 and over fashion thing,
show.
Yeah, man. You know,
that could be
those ladies like to come out there and strut their stuff, you know?
I know. I've seen it. And that's something that we could definitely do.
I know it was something, Karen. What was the name of the golden ladies or something, man? It was amazing, man.
Really?
You know? Yeah, man.
That could be something, and then we'll base it all surrounding mental health, you know, like the whole mental health initiative. I think it could be a benefit, like some kind of benefit event. I like that.
And you know what happens is when they was involved, a lot of the family, the wives, their kids come out to check them out when you do a fashion show.
Right.
They sell a lot of tickets, man, because they got them, you know, you got their mother in it, and
In
they
the
come
show.
out to it,
Of course.
you know. So just throwing some ideas to you. You know, I know
No.
you're going.
Sorry, sir. That's already on the list now.
Yeah.
Now we got to
Hey,
do
listen, when your sneaker coming out, when your stuff, we ain't gonna talk about that now.
Right. So I launched a sneaker brand called CorDuRoi, and we've been taking pre-orders this whole month of December. We're going into regular orders the top of January, so it's already launched, but the official come out launch is going to be next year. But you can still pre-order your sneakers. I already have some sneakers that are shipping right now from Italy. It is designed by me, Dewry DuRoi. That's my new alias. And so it's designed in America. And the influence is from France.
France,
and right. And we're producing it in Italy. We have some Italian artisans, shoe artisans, in the shoe capital of the world, really, in Italy. And they're producing the sneakers. I don't want to mess this up, but I believe it's called Le Marche, Italy.
All right, well, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to get through that, the whole thing. I just want us to get a little time to talk to each other right now. And as we bring the HealthJox to the general public and start getting it. So let's start lining up our folks, man.
Yeah.
What's so great about the Zoom thing is we can always get people from all over the country and even in the world.
Even out of the country.
Folks, I got folks in China. I want to bring us in the fashion industry, manufacturers. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different things right here. And it's all going to be centered around health and being healthy. Yes.
Right. For the sake of this recording, I also wanted to mention underneath the CorDuRoi collection, we have our very first HealthJox basketball sneaker that coach is going to come in and co-sign once he gets the feel and the fit of it. And we also have a track HealthJox sneaker that we're coming out with as well. So look for it, people. CorDuRoi.shop.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. You know them some hot shoes, man. We're going to have to make sure you get them. Make sure you bring it. They bring it in 12s, right?
Yes, it goes, believe it or not, all the way up to a 17.5, sir.
It has to. But bring it in and let's test them out a little bit.
Yeah,
we getting ready to rock and roll with that, man.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm always proud of you, proud of what you do, and it's so exciting being with our young people like yourself, man, that's out there pushing. And then I'm sure there's a whole bunch of guys like even your son. When I saw their Beast,
that song, The Beast, yes.
The Beast, oh man, off the chain.
Amazing.
Lyrics and everything. Go on YouTube and check that out. I was really impressed, man. You know, I'm very impressed with what I saw there. I said, yo, and they were dropping some lyrics.
Science.
Because I always listen to them. I want to hear what they have to say. And they tell them, let them know that OG was up on his stuff.
Oh, I definitely will, for sure.
Okay. All right, so listen, man, that's it. And what time is it, man? What time is it?
8:12. Got to get my parents some food.
Yeah, man, get on out of here, man. You started this so early.
Yes,
Peace
sir.
out, all right? All right.
What's up? All right.
Take care, man. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Flizzlet.